This is page 2 of your surface area lesson. So, as a reminder, please use this left column over here to write yourself or your teacher questions. Have your SOL formula sheet nearby as well as a calculator. So let's get started with the first example here on the top of this page. We're going to be finding the surface area of a square pyramid. It's a square pyramid because that means your base is a square. So to find the surface area, let's get out your formula sheet and find the pyramid on this formula sheet. So hopefully you guys recognize that even though this has a bunch of triangles, this is the one that is actually a pyramid. So we're going to use this formula down here for surface area for this example. Surface area equals 1/2 LP plus B. L is new. We did not have any pyramids or codes on the previous page. L refers to your slant height. Oops, slant with an L. The actual height of a pyramid is that distance from that top point perpendicular to your base. So it's like if I started at this point and I went straight down, that's your actual height. Your slant height is if I was standing on top of a pyramid and I slid down the face of it, that is your slant height. Now if I look at my diagram, I don't actually have a number here, so we're going to have to figure it out. We have the actual height, but that doesn't do us any good for the formula. We have to use this in another way to find the slant height. So if I look at this right here, I have a triangle. And not just any triangle, it's a right triangle. So with the right triangle, if I have two sides, I can use the Pythagorean theorem to find the third side. So this is a 12, this is a 1/2 S. And if you look right below it, it says S equals 10 centimeters. So that means that this right here is a 5. So I have a 12, a 5, and then I'm going to use that information to find the slant height. The slant height in this instance is going to be C for the Pythagorean theorem. So it's L for the formula, but it's C for the Pythagorean theorem. So we're going to have L squared equal to 12 squared plus 5 squared. Pause this if you need to find your slant height. And your slant height is going to be 13 centimeters. So I'm going to put that number into my formula. So I have 1/2 times 13 times the perimeter, which I haven't found yet, plus area of the base. Now P is your perimeter. And when I say perimeter, I mean perimeter of the base. So my base is a square, and if one side is 10, then what's going to be the perimeter of the base? Hopefully you guys are recognizing that means it's going to be 40, because 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 is 40. Now B is still area of the base, just like what we had on the front. Now because our base is a square, the formula that we're going to use to find the area of the base is actually going to be side squared. Or we can actually use base times height if we wanted to. So we're going to use 10 squared. So when I type this in my calculator, if you need to, I'm going to say 10, and then I have this button right here that says squared. So now in my calculator I have 10 squared, otherwise that's 10 times 10, which is 100. And then from here, it's just a matter of doing the calculations. So 1/2 times 13 plus 40, I'm just going to type it in. That gives me 260. So I have 260 plus 100, and hopefully everyone feels comfortable saying that that is 360 centimeters squared. Moving on to the next example. A TP in the shape of a right cone has a slant height of 18.5 feet and a diameter of 20 feet. Approximately how much canvas would be needed to cover the TP? So it tells you what the shape is. So if you've actually never known or seen a TP before, it looks like a right cone. So I'm going to make the start of a triangle, but instead of having a straight edge here, I'm going to make it curved, and I'm going to do a dotted around to make it look kind of like it's a circle there. Now we're told that we have a slant height of 18.5, now a diameter of 20. Well, because it's a circle, I actually prefer to put in the radius. So if the diameter is 20, that means the radius is 10. Now, it's saying how much canvas would be needed to cover the TP. When you have a TP, you don't cover the ground. That's where the bottom is. So this TP is going around the figure. When you have something that goes around, that means lateral area. So we want the lateral area of a cone for this problem. So if you look at your formula sheet, here's the cone. Lateral area is pi RL. So that's pi. We've already decided that the radius is 10. And the slant height, we were told, was 18.5. Now it says approximately how much canvas would be needed to cover the TP. Approximately means I'm going to use the pi button on my calculator, so I want it approximately equal to. So I'm going to have pi times 10 times 18.5. So I have approximately 581.19 square feet. If you are using 3.14 on your calculator, your answer will be slightly different than mine. Don't let that stop you. I can type it in right now and see what I get. You would get 580.9. If that's the number you get, that's fine. That's close enough. Don't worry about it. Okay, last example. Jeremy is planning on painting a hexagonal prism with the radius of 6 inches and a height of 10 inches. What is the area that the paint will cover? I don't know why he's doing this, but he is. So we have a hexagonal prism, radius of 6 and a height of 10. We want the area that the paint will cover. Because we want all of it, we're going to want surface area. If we only wanted certain surfaces, then we might actually want lateral area or something else. But for this problem, we're going to want surface area. So when you come to our formula sheet, I'm going to assume you guys recognize that there is no hexagonal prism on this formula sheet. But I actually wrote this down here on purpose. This formula, these formulas can be used for any prism. So I'm going to use this formula in the bottom, height times perimeter plus 2b. That's the formula for any surface area of any prism. Okay. Now, looking at this, we're told the height. The height is 10, so that's actually pretty easy. We still need to find the perimeter, and we still need to find the area of the base. Well, we're talking about a hexagonal prism, so I'm going to draw a sketch of a hexagon. And I'm going to draw a big one so that I can actually mark it up. Not a very good one, but that's okay. It says the radius is 6 inches. Because this is a hexagon, when I find my central angle, this angle right here, I'm going to do 360 divided by 6. Not because the radius is 6, but because a hexagon has 6 sides. So when I do that, I'm going to get 60 degrees. So I'm going to squeeze in a 60 right here. Now, I'm hoping everyone sees this, and this is very obvious. These two sides are the same. That means these two angles are the same. Now, what happens when this angle is 60 degrees and I want these two angles to be the same? What will these angles be? Hopefully everyone sees that they're going to be 60 degrees because 60 plus 60 plus 60 gives us 180. That means this right here is an equilateral triangle. So when I want the perimeter of this hexagon, I just need to multiply this 6 here by the 6 sides that there are. And I'm definitely regretting how many 6's there are in this problem. So 6 times 6 gives us a perimeter of 36. Now to find the area of the base, what I'm going to do is find the area of this one triangle and then multiply by how many triangles I have. So I'm going to say 6 and then times the area of the triangle. So this is a time when I'm actually going to use this formula over here, 1/2 AB times sine C, because I have the A, I have the B, and I have the angle measure in the middle. So I'm going to have 1/2 6 times 6 times sine of 60. Okay, so I'm going to type that in. Well, 1/2 is 0.5. 0.5 times 6 times 6 times sine of 60. And who knows who used your calculator last? So check your mode to make sure it's in degrees. Enter, and I get 15.88. Oops, that's not right. 15.588. Now, I'm going to do 6 times my answer, makes it a little bit faster, and I get 93.53. So this is the number that's going to go right here. 93.53. So now we're going to type this in. This is 360 plus twice 93.53, 187.06. Type that in, and we get 547.06 for our answer. All right, so we're done with the video part, so please take a moment, put some questions in the column if you have any, write a sentence or two about what you've learned, and then please continue with the next page and try those problems before you get to class.